Hi everyone! Welcome back to another collection tour with Leslie today. You've never been on camera with us.
No, never. You've only ever seen my hands.
But you've probably seen her on our Instagram stories a lot. But anyway, today I have Leslie here to show us her ink collection.
Yay!
So sometimes we'll be going home in the same direction and like taking the train together, and we will talk about like inks and pens and just things like that. And I've noticed over time that Leslie has a lot of inks.
Yeah, a few.
Just
a few.
I'm gonna say, I think it's safe to say that you probably have the most number of inks in Team Yoseka.
You guys are like way more logical with your purchases. Like you guys don't like have samples or just like pull from like the store bottles, and I'm just like, oh, I like this ink, let me just buy a full bottle of it.
Yeah, I think I've asked you like, oh my god, how many bottles do you think you have, like many times, and I hope this is a good opportunity to like actually count the bottles and such. So how many bottles do you have?
So full bottles I have 44, but I have 2 of one ink. So that's 45, and then I counted all of like my ink sample bottles as well, and I have 18 just like loose samples laying around. And then I also got the Diamine ink vent for last year, so
that's 25 bottles. Okay, great, amazing. I asked Leslie to take a photo of some of her inks at home because it would obviously be really difficult to try to bring all those bottles in today. So we'll insert the picture now. But when did you start, I guess, when did you start using fountain pens and also like buying inks for your pens?
So I actually started using fountain pens when I was like around 11.
Oh, okay.
Because my dad like would go back to Taiwan a lot, and he would just buy random stationery for me to try when he got back. And I remember getting my first fountain pen when I was 11. I don't really remember the brand because it was just like one of those like plasticky, like click-in type of ones. But that was my first time using a fountain pen. And then I like stopped. Like I used it for a few months and I stopped.
I see.
And then, yeah, I didn't start again until 2019, I think. An artist that I liked was like talking about like the tools he used to draw, and like that's when I found out about like Lamy and like all these like higher end fountain pens and everything. So that's when I think my like love actually started to grow for it.
I guess kind of going off of that, like did you always buy full bottles? Like did you start buying full bottles of ink when you started using fountain pens in 2019?
Yeah. So my first bottle of ink that I don't have here was the Pilot Iroshizuku, like the 30 ml bottle in Momiji.
Oh, cute.
And at that point, I didn't know you could buy ink samples. Like that was never something that was like told to me, and like I'd never seen it advertised anywhere. So I was just like, oh yeah, people just get these massive bottles of ink.
You don't have that bottle with us today.
No.
What happened to it? You just lost it, maybe?
It like disappeared, like because I moved a bunch since 2019, so it just like disappeared into the ether somewhere.
So you use the inks mostly for your fountain pens. You don't. Do you use dip pens or?
I use dip pens as like a means to like swatch my inks, but I only really use fountain pens for like actual use.
Cool. And mostly like writing.
Like half and half. I actually draw a lot with my fountain pens, so I would say I actually use up more ink drawing than I do writing.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about each bottle and what they are?
Sure. So this is my bottle of ink, Jadeite from Ink Institute, and this was probably like post the Momiji bottle, my first bottle of ink that I'd bought. and I got it here at Yoseka before I like worked here though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was like my next foray into it after I got like Momiji and my Lamy pen. Was I got this bottle of ink and the MD fountain pen that we carry. But yeah, so fond memories of this.
When did this come out? Isn't this like fairly recent?
Oh yeah. So this was in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd been using that other bottle for a while and then like gradually stopped, and then I like got this and then gradually started again.
I see.
So a little scary that I've grown my collection that much.
That's what I'm thinking right now.
You're like the math? Like
yeah,
how many bottles?
We're talking 45 bottles. Okay, we'll talk about that later.
So this is my newest bottle of ink. It's the Dominant Industry Harbor of Dieppe. Yeah.
Very, very recent.
Yeah, like maybe I got it I think like a week or two ago. Yeah, because I saw Ashley swatching this for like the photo, and then like I like just stared at the swatch and like I was like shifting it around on the paper, and I was like, I need to get that ink.
It's a really pretty shimmer, orangey
It's
ink.
like the shimmer is actually like super like multi-dimensional. I feel like with this ink. This is like the reason that I stopped collecting ink for a while. So I think I got this bottle, and then I got like Pilot Ear Shizuku Suyu Kusa, and then I bought this one, and I was like, oh, this is such a pretty like orange. It'll look great in my like Sailor MF nib. This is too light. I just stopped buying inks.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, if you like look at my purchase history, it was like this, and then just like silence.
For
Until I actually started working here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'd like to stop for a while. Cause, like,
so this is Sailor 173 from their Sailor
Studio.
Ink Studio. So it was too light. Like it was too like not legible.
Yeah, because in like beginner me saw like the swatch where it was like you were like dropping the ink onto the paper. So I was like, oh, that's such a pretty, like, sort of, like, shading, like, really nice orange. And, like, it just did not come out like that in the nib. But it's great now in my, like, broad nib, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was using this to write notes for a while, like, here with my, my Sailor broad nib, and that worked really well. It's just, like, not for an MF nib.
Yeah. Like my follow-up question was gonna be like, if you have inks that you don't reach for a lot and you're not going through it, like what do you do with those bottles? Have you ever sold them or like given them away?
I'm like planning on destashing them at some point soon, just because after like having to go through and take a photo of every single bottle like together, I have too many. Like, you think about the number, like, in your mind, and you're like, yeah, whatever. But, like, when you physically have to, like, face them, it's, like, a different story. But,
cool.
Yeah, I haven't destashed or anything just yet.
Can I open it? I just want to see, like, how full it is. Oh, you dented a little bit.
No, you're being so, like, generous. Dented. Like,
see, like...
It's like, how much was that actual use and how much was it just like evaporation through time?
What about this one? What's this one?
This is my Bungu box Sweet Potato Purple. This I got like maybe September of last year. And this is my most expensive bottle of ink currently.
Another orange.
No. Sweet Potato Purple.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about the other.
Oh, the yellow?
Yeah.
I feel like I have to get that one to like, this is so bad. I have to get that one to like match with this one.
Do you have other Bungu box inks? This is the only one?
Yeah, because it's like, it's really nice, but they're sort of like, I have to like really think long and hard about it. It's a little like too expensive to be like, just like buying on a whim.
Are most of your inks from Yoseka or yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's I think a handful of Ferris wheel pressings that I have that I bought from their like main site though, that we don't carry here.
I see. What about the samples? Do you mostly get samples here or do you order them?
So actually, one of our very lovely customers, Kim, is the one who's always like bringing me samples.
What do you mean?
Because she gets so many like really cool inks that we don't have here. So then I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. And then she'll just like roll up to the storefront one day and like hand me like a bag.
Oh my god, I had no idea.
Yeah, like most of my samples are from her. I was like
so
actually
funny.
just like DMing her the other day about it too. Like she was talking about Diamine's Sailor's Warning. I was like, oh, that's cool. And she's like, hey, if you want a sample, just like let me know.
So cool. So we have some inks here. What are these?
So I have here Sailor Manyo Shirakashi, the Ferris wheel press Goose Poupon, and Sailor Yurameku Seki. So these are the 3 inks that I'm currently like using like daily in my notebook and my sketchbook.
Cool.
So for Seki, this is just like a currently inked. This is my my February like ink of the month. So it's like in my week's planner right now, and that's like the only ink I'm using. But these 2 are sort of like, I constantly reach for these ones. So like this one's in my home pen and this one's in my 1911L. And like I don't use any other ink in those 2 pens. It's just I keep refilling with these. So like,
so you really like these inks?
yeah, I actually like dented this one like a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
This is a standard? This
Yeah.
is a standard. Nice.
It's crazy. I've like been only using this color to draw with since August of last year, but like it's like still so full. Like I've maybe made like a centimeter's dent in it. That one I think I got like more recently in November. So it's still pretty full. I've only like ever had to refill my pen like once or twice with it.
Is this one green? They're very nice, like kind of not like bright green, but like muted.
Yeah, I think that's like the color family I reach for the most.
Thanks for showing some of your inks.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Do you have a lot of shimmer inks, would you say, or?
I actually do, I think, have like a good amount of them.
Look at this list of all of Leslie's inks.
I think most of my Ferris wheel press inks are shimmers. And then I have the Harbor of Dieppe, that's a shimmer. Actually, that might be it.
So you have a lot of Sailor, Shikiori. You have a lot of Ferris wheel.
Yeah. So I think besides Goose Poupon, all of the other ones are shimmer inks from Ferris wheel press.
Do you swatch them like regularly, like, or do you have a way of swatching them, or?
I did in my old weeks. I like when I didn't have that many inks, I would like just like save a few pages and like swatch like all of like my red inks together and like all my orange and like go down the line.
I see.
But
like, I guess Austin and Alex both. Austin mostly like has very systematic way of like swatching his
He's
inks.
like really committed to like every single color, whereas I'm just like I can't. Like I'll buy a bottle and I'll like forget to swatch it, and then like by the time I remember, I'll be like 4 more bottles in.
Do you have a favorite ink out of all your inks for now? If you had to keep only one bottle.
Oh my god, that's like choosing your favorite kid or something. I think my favorite bottle would have to be Shirakashi, just because I think out of all the inks I use, I gravitate towards green inks the most. It's such a nice color because it's like dark green, but there's sort of like a brown shading element to that, which I really enjoy. And I just think it's like the best for like everyday use.
How often how often would you say you go through your inks? Do you switch it up a lot? Like, do you re-ink your pens a lot, or?
Yeah. So besides the ones that I refill, I think I re-ink my pen like Actually, it's not that often if you really think about it. Like once every 2 weeks because I have a few pens in rotation at any given point. So like I only really need to re-ink them once every like 2 weeks. But I always swap out colors once every month. So if I'm writing with Seki and like halfway through the month I run out, I'll just like refill it.
I see.
But then at the end of the month, like even if I have a little left, like I'll just switch out the color for like my next month.
How many pens would you say you have inked at any given moment?
I think right now I only have like 4 pens inked, but generally I'll have like 6 to 8 pens inked at any given point. Just because I have also too many planners.
Too many planners? How many planners do you have?
I think I have like 6 or 7.
Oh my god!
So like it's like Seki's my ink of the month for my weeks, but then like in my 5-year I'm using something else, and then in my Hobonichi, my Techo, I'm using something else, and it's like there's like other inks that I'm also using through the month.
I see.
Sometimes I'll like, if I really like a color, I'll use the same ink in like a few different planners, but for the most part, like they're generally different. I think color-wise, I'm like set for life. But I've just recently, I think, well, because of you actually, gotten into shimmerings like last year, because of your like Koeko double brow. Yeah. Like before that, I'd wanted to try them, but I had no reason
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because I would just like be at the store and like swatch them and like look at them for fun, but until you were like, yeah, I keep it in my double brow. I'm like, oh my god, that's such a good idea.
Oh no, I feel so responsible.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I have like a Twisby broad and also a Koeko double broad to like use for my shimmerings.
Cool. Do you have all colors of the rainbow like in your collection?
No.
No.
Yeah, I think
What are you missing?
brown.
Brown, okay.
Because I feel like, I don't know, I've never found like the right brown to use. And like, I feel like other colors usually will like shade almost to a brown. And then so I'll sort of just like use that in place of it.
Do you have like black inks?
Yeah, I only have one bottle of black ink. Which
Which
is like,
one is it?
it's the Pilot Ear Shizuku Takesumi.
Oh, okay. That was good. Favorite pen and ink pair, if you have one?
It's these two.
Oh, cute.
Which is like the ones that I'm like currently inked with these 2 inks.
like
I feel
like this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cute. Like this pair is really nice.
Yeah, but I think Shirakashi in the home pen is like it. I think that's like the pairing to end all pairings in my mind. Because like before I got the home pen, because I knew we were gonna get them, I was like sitting and thinking about it for like over a month on like, oh, I need like the perfect color for this.
This is Shirakashi.
Yeah.
This is a fine. Cool. Yeah, it's like the hint of green here. That looks really nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try this if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Ooh, it's more like yellowish, yellow green.
Yeah, I think like
This is also fine.
shade-wise, that's like my favorite like shade of green.
Nice. Yeah. Really good pairs.
Thanks. It's like funny because I have so many inks, but I also like honestly sit and think about like the inks that I have a lot of the times when I'm like re-inking my pens. It could take me up to a month to like decide like what pen to ink with what ink.
So then do you like go back to your swatches and like look at the inks and like try to match with the pen?
Not always. It's, for me, I don't try to match the pen with the ink most of the time. It's usually what pen I think I'll want to write with that month, and then like pair that with like what I feel like the vibes of the month will be, and that's how I choose my ink.
Do you have most of your pens like are in fine?
I think most of them are in fine.
Do you find that like your ink purchases and like your pen purchases kind of like influence each other at all? You mentioned like getting the double broad for shimmer inks, and if you have more shading inks, I guess they look better with like a thicker nib sometimes.
So I think sometimes they do influence each other. Specifically, like if I'm looking to like buy a new ink for the month, then like if I already have the pen picked out, then I'll like really like, it helps me to narrow down which ink I think I'll be getting, just because it has to like write well in the pen.
So since you have a lot of inks, when you want to get a new bottle, what are your kind of, do you have any like criteria that you look for, or do you have any like rules, like you have to like want it for like 3 months to like actually buy one, or do you have any?
Specifically now that I have so many, I do like, I sort of like on our website, I'll just like add one to cart and I'll just like leave it there for like maybe a month or two depending. And then like generally that's how I like sort out a lot of the inks that I don't want to buy, because then I'll just like delete it before I even like purchase it. So I think now like I generally steer away from drier inks.
Okay.
So like if it's gonna be drier, I just like, even if I like the color a lot, I tend to not buy it.
I see.
And then beyond that, it can't be something that I do have, or it can't even be something close. It has to be like something
Very
special.
different.
Yeah, it has to be different, but it also has to be like special in some way. Like I think the dominant industry ink is like sort of fits that criteria, because I don't really have, this was my first shimmer like outside of Ferris wheel press, and it also like, it just like looks so nice, and I don't have anything like that. So that's how I like ended up buying it.
I see. So when you're thinking about like new inks, it really has to be like a special kind of ink that you don't already have.
Yeah.
Like you don't need another black ink, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Because at that point, it's like less of like collecting to me and more I'm just like hoarding ink. Even though that's what it feels like now. But like if I didn't,
a great collection.
No, because if I didn't have any rules, then it would like be just like a free for all.
Any inks that you like finished?
Never.
That's
what I'm trying to do with this one. Cause like I'm only drawing with it, so I'm like, I want to see how long it'll take me to finish it. And like I'm even like cataloging it in my planner every time I refill it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because like I need to know.
That would be really interesting to know later.
Yeah.
Like how, oh my god, I'm gonna be so excited if you like come in one day and you're like, I finished this bottle.
I feel like I have to finish it this year. Like up until this point, I've never finished a bottle, and yeah, I'm still collecting all these bottles. So if I finish this one, it like almost validates my like collection a little.
So thanks, Leslie, for showing your inks, sharing your inks with us today. If anyone has any questions about Leslie's collection or any like ink related questions in general, please leave us a comment.
Thanks for having me.
Hope to see you in another video at some point. Yeah. We'll be back with another collection tour. Probably not next week, but the week after that. Okay, thank you.
Bye.